Bonjour, bonsoir. Welcome back to my channel. This is Avanti Ra Inclusive. And today we are talking about hair color, specifically going blonde. And I know that there's a lot of products out there and there's a lot of different levels of blonde. And I want to talk about a lot of that in this video. There might be a part two because I don't think I can put everything in one video. And I don't want this video to be an hour long, so it's probably going to be a part two as well. So you want to go blonde? Okay. Know that it's high maintenance. If you're going to go blonde, you got to put in the money and the time and the effort because it's going to be a wild ride. Blondes do have more fun. They get more noticed. From what I understand, I think that it has sort of a backstory. You know, you think about people like Marilyn Monroe. She went blonde, and when she went blonde, she became this huge, iconic, legendary star. There is a reason why blonde is so popular because it's very bright and it's a beautiful color. It's very shocking. Most people that I've seen go blonde, they usually have dark hair, so it's a huge change from what they used to look like, and now you're super blonde, you know. And it's like a night and day look. I think blondes are just known in Hollywood as being like the epitome of sexiness and the epitome of beauty and class and all that great stuff that comes with it. I just think that blondes have always had that moniker of being the sexiest one in the room or the most glamorous one in the room is this blonde woman, you know. Because I think it's a Hollywood thing. I think Hollywood put them on the map. You know, they created all these movies that dealt with blondes, you know, like Farrah Fawcett. Farrah Fawcett was not born blonde. She had dark hair. When she went blonde, she became an iconic figure on TV. So I think a lot of these blondes from back in the day, they were really getting a lot of attention. They really did get the most attention. I mean, it's something about it. So I think that's why people like blonde so much, because they have that backstory of being the sexy one or being the fun one or the lively one. They're usually blonde. Because they always say people with dark hair are more serious, they're more conservative, they're more low-key, they're more quiet. It kind of it seems that way. It does kind of seem that way. It seems like they're more serious or they're depicted that way in TV. At least you see that more so than any other thing. If you watch any kind of show, usually the one that's getting all the attention is the blonde, and the one that's a brunette is usually the smart girl, you know, or the smart guy. So it's always been that way. And so if you want to go blonde, know that it's an investment. People don't realize it costs money to go blonde because you have to maintain it. You have to deal with your hair growing back in and your roots. So I think if your hair grows normally, you're going to show your roots within about 2 weeks. In about a week or two, you're going to get those roots back in, and especially in the front, and you have to maintain the color. So you have to go in and get it touched up. Or you can do it at home, but I would tell people to, if you're not good at color and you haven't studied it and you don't know how to troubleshoot in case there's an issue, get it done professionally. So that's going to cost money. Most salons that I have done my research on and most places that I've gone to, most of the salon stylists it costs a couple of $100s. I mean, let's just be real. It's going to cost a couple of $100s to get your hair done. The first time it's probably going to cost more than that because you have to get the products and, you know, all that great stuff. And depending on how many levels that they have to take you, because a lot of people don't realize that they might not get the color they want the first time, because if you have really dark hair, like black hair, and especially if you have color treated hair and you dyed it black, you have to do it in levels. If they're going to protect your hair and you want to make sure you don't have any breakage or fallout, they will only take you to a certain level. I mean, I feel like if you have dark hair, black hair, or even dark brown hair, they might take you 1 to 2 levels, meaning you're not going to be blonde. You'll have brown. If you're dark hair, if you have jet black hair, they'll take you to a brown. Okay? So you're going to get a brown color the first time. Then the next time you come in, which would be, I would say, 6 weeks later, to go to a blonde color, then they'll lift your hair to, depending on how healthy your hair is. If you have damaged hair from heat and chemicals, they might not even take you blonde at all. If they are a stylist who has integrity and looks out for their customers because they want you to come back and they want you to put out a good word for them, they're not going to put the bleach on your hair. They won't do it. So what they'll probably tell you is, no, we can't do it. No, a good stylist will give you options. We can do extensions. We can do that. Or we can cut your hair, do a big chop, depending on how damaged your hair is. Because if you have a lot of damage, you won't be able to put blonde in your hair. You just won't be able to do it because it will break your hair off and your hair is going to fall out. So what's the point of it? If you really want to go blonde, I would either recommend extensions, where you can have blonde streaks of extensions throughout your hair, intermingled with your dark hair. I've seen people do like a brown base, a caramelly brown with lighter highlights, streaks through the hair, using not bleach, but using extensions to give you those highlights. Instead of damaging your hair, I'm going to clip in some extensions for you and style your hair that way. That's the best way if you want to have that look. Or they have some wonderful spray-in colors where we can give you an ombre and spray the bottom of your hair, the tips of your hair, just a few inches up, and give you that ombre effect. That's always an option because they have some great waterproof hairspray colors, spraying colors that are waterproof, and you can wear it 1 or 2 days and then wash it out, and you can reapply it until your hair grows to a certain length and you can get that cut. Maybe because some people do the trims every few weeks or every month or so. I've seen people do it that way as opposed to doing like a big chop where it's like up to your like chin, up to your jawline. I should say, right. If you don't want to do that type of a chop to get rid of all the damage, you could do it in inches. Every month or so, just get 2 inches cut off, and until the new growth comes in, and you don't compromise your length. You still have length, so by the time your hair is ready, the new growth is ready to be dyed, you still have length to your hair. But that would take months. That's going to take months. That'll take a whole six months or more before you can get to a level where they've cut enough damage off where they can put the dye on the new growth. It's going to take a while. So if you want to do it the slow way, that's fine. You could do the long way and take more time and do it that way. Or you could do a big chop and do like a short bob and have like a short blonde bob. That can be done too. It depends on the quality of your hair. If you've taken care of it, if you have healthy hair, if you have any kind of medical issues that have damaged, has an effect on your hair, adverse effect on your hair, you may have to wait, or you may do a big chop. It depends how you feel. But you have options. Like as a stylist, wigs are always an option. If you really want a blonde look that will not affect your hair, you can do a wig. Because if you get a high quality wig, lace front, 100% full lace front, they can make that look exceptional on you. And you could take it off whenever you get bored of it. You could take it off and put it back on the stand, and and you didn't damage your hair. But if you have good hair, meaning the healthy hair, and your hair is not in any way damaged, and you can actually bleach your hair, then go for it. Why not? You have to figure out how blonde you want to be, because there's so many levels of blonde. There's dishwater blonde, there's strawberry blonde, there's buttery blonde, and then there's platinum. So you have a lot of different levels of it. And then from what I would recommend myself to people is if you're going to do the whole head, do different shades of blonde. I don't think, unless you're going platinum, then just do one color. But if you're doing like say a sun-kissed blonde, if you look at people that are naturally blonde, they have different shades of blonde. They have from dark to light. If you look at somebody with natural blonde hair, it's never one color. So I would always recommend doing layers of colors of blonde and mix it up where it looks natural. And that looks so much more real, and it looks so much better on people. It's not shocking, especially if you, I say if you're very pale or very brown skin, if you do it where you have mixtures of different shades of blonde, it looks so much better. It looks natural. It is complimentary to you as opposed to doing like a shocking color on you, and it just looks unnatural. So I always recommend doing several different colors. And when you do go blonde, it's going to cost a lot of money because it's such a delicate color as far as how you get it done. It actually damages the hair in a lot of ways if you don't take care of it, because you're drying out the cuticle. You're stripping the hair of its original color. Then it's not even really a deposit. You're just lightening you're just taking the color out. You're taking the color out of your hair, basically. So you're stripping the color out of the hair, to add the blonde or get the blonde color in. And usually it's very drying. Even if you have very oily hair, even if your hair has never been dry in your life, bleaching it will make it dry. So you have to have products to maintain it. So what I tell people is don't wash your hair the day that you're going to get it done professionally. Do not wash your hair because the bleach is so strong, it's going to penetrate the hair cuticle. And in that oil that's naturally on your hair, it's going to protect your scalp because it's going to burn your scalp a little bit. Especially if you wash your hair and get it done, you're going to feel that bleach on your scalp, and it's not going to be pleasant. It's going to actually burn. So it's better if you have a little bit of oil on your scalp, a little bit here and there, throughout your scalp, on your scalp, to protect the bleach from really penetrating your scalp, because that's not what you want. Especially if you're doing the whole head. Now, if you're doing the ombre, you're fine. You can wash the hair if you want to. They tell you not to do it, but if you happen to wash your hair, you forgot, you're going to be fine because they're not doing your roots. They're not going to be putting anything on your scalp. They're doing maybe 3 to 4 inches of your hair at the bottom. So you're going to be fine with that. Also with the bleach, you have to know how to maintain it, because if you're doing your whole head, you have to go in every 2 to 3 weeks because your new growth is coming in and your roots are going to show. And it's not going to look that cute if you have like an inch of dark hair in the front of your head and then you got the blonde right next to it. It just looks really bad. I mean, very few people can get away with that. Very, very few people can get away with that. The only time you can get away with that is if you have a certain blunt cut and you got part of your hair is dark purposefully, like the back and the sides are dark, and then you just got the blonde on the top. That's the only way you can get away with that. But if you're doing the whole head and then you got these dark roots in there, it just doesn't look right. It doesn't look good at all. No. It takes away from the look. Unless if you're doing a classic look, you're doing a conservative, highly well-polished look, you have to dye the roots. It's not going to look good with the black roots coming in or dark roots. It's not going to look good. It's going to look like you're lazy. You didn't take any time to maintain it, So yeah, you have to go in to get it treated depending on how quickly your hair grows. But usually 2 to 3 weeks, you'll start seeing new growth. You have to get that dyed to the same color. That is the hair color that you've chosen. I always tell people to get it done professionally. That's why it's expensive. Because if you do it at home, and this is what I've seen online on YouTube videos, people end up with orange hair, green hair, because they're using a different product, and it's not salon quality. It's usually over the counter, and there's nothing wrong with over the counter if you know what you're doing, But usually the over-the-counter product does not mix well with a salon product. It's like night and day. I hate to tell you that, but it's true. The salon quality products work faster. They're more effective. You have better ingredients. You have ingredients that actually work more quicker, and they're true to the color on the box. They're true to the color. The box colors are usually very different than what you end up with, because most people don't do the research. They're not honest about what they've already had put in their hair. They're not really being very honest about the chemicals that are there or how they treated their hair prior to getting their hair dyed. So they get upset because it didn't look like it on the box. But if you take time and say, well, do you have any other chemical in your hair? Yes. Did you prepare your hair properly? No. Did you leave the product on for the right amount of time? No. It's usually the person's fault. It's usually the person's fault. They didn't read the instructions well enough. They skipped something. They skipped a step. Now, with the salon, the best thing about that, even though it costs a lot of money, I think it's well worth it, because you're going to come out with hopefully you'll come out with what you want. If you have a great stylist, they'll listen to you, and they'll figure out what do you want, and they'll tell you the truth. Can it be done? Because they're going to look at your hair, touch it, examine it, move it around to see what type of health it's in. They'll see the quality of your hair, and they can say if they can get you to that level or not. The honest ones will say either they'll check the integrity of your hair, see if you have any issues. If you don't have any issues, and if you already have light brown hair, then it can be done. If you have dark hair, they will tell you have to come back again after 6 months so we can go to the next level, because you can't bring a very dark hair to if you say you want the lightest of blondes, it's going to be very difficult to get to that. And you're going to have damage on your hair if you do that. I've seen a lot of people make a lot of mistakes trying to do it at home. But usually you'll come back after they've lifted you a couple of levels, and then you'll come back after 6 months and get it done again. And then they can get you to that platinum blonde that you're looking for, without damaging your hair, with little to no damage. So yeah, that's what I tell people to do. Then here's the thing about the blonde. Once you've gotten your hair and it's a success, and you are exactly at the level of color that you want, and you're satisfied with it, now you have to learn how to maintain it. So it depends on what you already have at home. And I tell people, if you don't have salon level products for blonde hair specifically, then you need to spend the money and get those blonde specific products for your hair, because it's going to maintain the color longer. If you use a product that's not for blonde hair, you can end up with a disaster. I mean, you can end up with green hair if you're not careful. Even the water, you got to be careful even with the water. If you have water that has a lot of chlorine in it, it's going to change your hair color. I always tell people, spend a little money, get yourself a gallon of spring water, and use that to wash your hair. Because a lot of cities have really bad water. New York has bad water. I'm telling you, New York's water is really bad for hair. I see people having these beautiful colors in their hair one minute, see them again, their hair is green, or it's got a weird color to it, because they're using tap water. That tap water is not good for your hair, honey. New York tap water is horrible for your hair. And I know it sounds bougie, and I know it sounds like, oh wow, who do you think you are? Using spring water only for you. But that doesn't have chemicals in it. You need water that doesn't have any chemicals, because you have chemically treated hair. So get yourself some spring water and rinse and wash your hair with it. It's an expense, yes it is, but you said that you wanted to go blonde, so therefore you're getting what you're paying for. Okay. It will keep your hair as it will maintain the color that you asked for. It won't change the color. That's why they have those bottles saying for blondes only. And that's what you need to buy. And there's so many products out there, which I will be listing the products here, but I'll put some pictures up for you guys. But the ones that I've seen these are what work. And I'm not being sponsored. Nobody's paying me to put this out here, but I have seen people use these products. I've used them on other people, and they do work. And then I say always have a purple shampoo at home, because sometimes anything can make your hair color change. It could be you're using a styling product for your hair. You might be using hairspray that has alcohol in it, which is horrible. Or you might use any kind of product that could change the color of your blonde to a brassy blonde, or it might give it a weird tint to it. It happens, you know. So I say have a purple shampoo, because that will be your toner to get your color to be the same color that you started out with, or get you as close to that color if it's been damaged. It gets you as close to the color that you originally had. And there's a lot of great purple shampoos out there, which I will also list that as well. I'll put some pictures up of the ones that I've seen that work. Usually they're salon level purple shampoos, and I say always go to the salon or beauty supply store and get these products. Do not trust what's on the over-counter stuff, because that's not for people who have a professional color. It's usually people that use that are people that have done it at home, and you know, they're kind of, you know, they're trying to make it a thing. I feel like a lot of these girls that were walking around with damaged color, like they were having that orange color for way before it became popular, they weren't buying the purple shampoos. They weren't trying to tone their hair. They just thought, oh my God, it came out this way, I guess I have to keep it. You know, and they made it became a thing. You know, that orangey color became a thing. And now people love the color. You know, now it's a color. Now it's an actual legitimate color. Hot roots, that's something else people have been doing lately, which is a mistake that people make when they dye their hair at home, and they dye their roots first, and so the roots are lighter than the rest of the head, so you got like this light bulb effect thing where you got all this brightness around the crown of your face, around your face, and then everything else is darker, like 2 to 3 shades darker. So it's like a reverse ombre. It looked bad to me. It looks really bad, but I've seen people make it a thing. I don't know, I mean, it's become a thing. Okay, I don't personally think it looks good, and I think people should really try to look the best that they can look, and I think that just makes you look kind of ghetto. But if you want to look ghetto, go ahead, girl. But I feel like get yourself a good purple shampoo so you can get that orange out of there, because that will cancel the orange, and it will make it more of a blonde, yellow blonde. You'll have a yellowish golden blonde as opposed to orange or green. So that will take that color out. Also, you have to maintain the moisture of your hair. Even if you're somebody with silky hair, I think you need to also realize that now you've taken a lot of the moisture out of your hair by bleaching it. So get yourself a good leave-in conditioner. And I'll list a couple of those on here for people, because everybody's hair is different. Because, I mean, it's like night and day. One thing that works for you might not work for me. So depending on your hair type, hair texture, and what you use in your hair will make a difference. I think buying a product from the same line, the same brand, is the best thing to do, instead of trying a whole bunch of different brands and trying to combine them together. I find like a lot of those products don't work well together. I find like there's ingredients that'll cancel certain things out, and then you end up with a mess. That's why some people go, oh, it says moisturizer, but it makes my hair so dry, because it's a different product from a different brand, and it's for people with a certain type of hair type. And it says it in the fine lines. If you really read all of the ingredients and you read all of what it says on the bottle, you'll find out that it's not for your hair type. More than likely it's not. That's probably why it didn't work. So I say people, get yourself a great moisturizer, and learn how to protect your hair when you go to bed. Excuse me, because I feel like a lot of people just kind of jump in bed and that's it, and their hair's all over the place by the time they wake up. I see a lot of women don't protect their hair when they go to sleep. putting a little bonnet on or a little silk scarf on, and putting your hair up in a pineapple, and maybe putting a little scarf around it. Yes, it seems a little bit old school, but it actually does protect your hair. And have like a silk pillowcase or satin pillowcase. It helps keep the hair from breaking off. It does. It actually works. And then you'll be spending less time getting ready in the morning or whenever you need to go out. You spend less time getting it together. And I always say, put a little moisturizer in your hair before you go to bed. Just put it just a little bit, from root to tip, and then put in a little pineapple and put maybe a little bonnet on, a little scarf, something to protect your hair and keep it moisturized. It only takes a second, and really it saves you so much time in the morning, so you don't have to keep reapplying every morning when you're trying to get somewhere and you're late, running out the house. So I say, do the moisturizer at night. I think that people with, say, from 4A to 4C should really, and they're going blonde, really moisturize and have a moisturizing shampoo. You have to get a shampoo that says hydration and repair. If you have I've seen shampoos that say extreme repair, extreme hydration. Those are the ones that I always recommend for people with 4A, 4C, B, 4C hair, because that's usually the driest hair. So I'm like, you have to spend a little extra money and find shampoos and conditioners that say hydration and repair. That will keep your hair from breaking off, and that will keep your hair from drying out, and you'll have less issues with that blonde if you do it that way. It's a little bit more work, but it's worth it. Take time and moisturize your hair each and every day. You don't have to put a lot on. Just put enough on to cover the hair, and make sure that you gently work it in. And you may even want to put a plastic head covering on your hair for an hour if you have time to do it. Wear your hair in a little ponytail or a little bun, and then put a little plastic scarf on top of it, just to lock it in. That will lock in the moisture. It'll give that hair extra moisture. And then you take it off your hair, it's going to be so soft. And by the time you take that off your hair, it's going to be so soft and moisturized. And that'll last for hours. It'll be like that for hours. But you have to protect yourself. You have to protect your hair. People with like the 3A to 3B hair, usually their hair is very on the silky side. It's usually not that dry. It's usually more silky than dry. It's like in between, silky and dry. They have combination hair. Some of them have wave patterns. They have a looser curl, so their hair is a little bit stronger. And I always say, do the same thing, but just be more mindful that for humidity's sake, because a lot of people suffer from humidity and they get the frizzy hair, and they don't want the frizzy hair. They want the curls. So get a good styler. Get something that will lock in the moisture and also keep the curl. So there's a lot of products out there. Now I'm going to put some pictures up here to tell you what I think works, So we should be doing that. And then also, it's your diet. I think if you're eating healthy, a lot of water, a lot of green vegetables and fruits, that'll keep your hair healthy as well. And getting enough sleep, because you're supposed to get at least 8 hours. I know most people don't get 8 hours. But learn how to cat nap. If you can only get 4 hours, and then during the day you have a moment to close your eyes, take that moment, get off social media, lay down for an hour or two, get that rest, and then get up and be ready to go. You have to figure it out for yourself. And those are some of the tips that I would give people. Now, this is part one. I probably will do a part two, because I'm going to put more pictures of people who had successful engagements with their salon, their stylist. And then I'm going to show you some people that didn't. And I'm going to tell you why. The ones that put in the effort, because it is high maintenance look. It's high maintenance. People have to realize it's going to cost you money. Now, I think one person I remember that recently got their hair platinum blonde, I think she spent about close to $300 to $400 the first time, because she got the hair styled and cut and colored, and then she bought the products that came with it. So it was a few $100s, and it was well worth it because she looked absolutely fabulous. And then she had to go back to get maintenance on her roots because she wanted to keep that look going on for a while. So she loved the reaction she was getting. She was getting a lot of compliments. It looked natural on her, even though it was platinum blonde. The way they did it, she looked so good, and it looked so wonderful on her. It didn't make her look like shocking. It just made her look stunning. And she went back to get the maintenance on there, and it cost a couple of $100 each time, So it's an investment. You have to look at it like, do you have the time to get it done, and you have to have the money, because I do not recommend people doing it at home. That's when people make a huge mistake and end up with green hair. I've seen it done. Or they end up drying their hair out and it breaks off because they've left the bleach on too long, or the bleach was expired. Because a lot of these places that you buy from over the counter, if you're not looking at the expiration date, and some of them don't even have expiration dates on them, so you don't even know how long that product's been sitting there, you're probably walking into a disaster. Probably. And if you don't have the purple shampoo, and you don't have the that's another thing, Olaplex, and things that will help you if you damaged your hair at home specifically, you need to have something like Olaplex, or something that is a protein based conditioner and shampoo that's going to reverse the damage, that's going to save the cuticle of your hair, because it happens. Some people, they do stuff at home and they overprocess their hair. I've seen it over and over again. And those products will save your hair. I think Loreal has a great product. Olaplex has a great product that saves your hair from damage, or it heals the damage of your hair. It puts back protein in your hair and moisture, and it helps your hair from breaking. So always have that on hand. Have that on at your house. If you're going to do it yourself, have everything at your house. So I would say if you're buying a box color, if you have shoulder length hair or longer, you need 2 boxes of it, not just one, because you need more. You need enough color to saturate the hair. Because I didn't talk about that, but you do. If you're going to do it at home, you have to saturate your hair with that color. I've seen a lot of people make a mistake and they only put a little bit on, just one little bottle, and they try to stretch it, and it's not going to cover all your hair. It's not going to even bleach it to the same level as a part of your hair that you put a lot on. It's not going to get to every strand of your hair because people don't know how to apply it. I say do your hair in sections and use foils. And you can do that at home by yourself. You don't have to have somebody do it for you. You can learn how to do it yourself. Section off your hair. I say in 4 sections. And each section, you break those sections down separately and put not a lot of hair on the foil. You put just enough to fit on the foil, and then you super saturate the hair. Not the root. You're only doing maybe an inch or 2 from the root, and you're just doing the rest of the hair. And you put it in the foil, and do it quickly. You have to be kind of quick too, because you want the hair to be at the same level of color. So you have to be kind of quick. That's why I always tell people to go to a professional, because most people aren't quick enough to put all that bleach on their hair and then do their roots. They usually make a mistake because either they're leaving the bleach on way too long in certain parts of their hair, or one part got more time than the other, and you're going to have a lot of different colors that don't make sense. And it's going to be strips of color, and it's going to look really, really bad. So I say get it done by a professional. But if you're going to do it at home, understand how to do foils and be quick about it. And you have to super saturate the strands, because you want each strand to really, really get that color. So, and once you've done all of your head, then you go back, you time it where, say if the box, just as an example, it says leave the bleach on for 30 minutes, right? Your roots are done last, but your roots process much quicker because you got the heat coming from your head, and usually the roots don't have product on it. More than likely, that has little to no product on it, so it's going to process much quicker. So it might take the rest of your hair 30 minutes to get to the blonde that you want, but it may only take 15 minutes for your roots to change color. So what you do is you keep the color on for 15 minutes. When you do your roots, just leave it on for 15 minutes and do a check. Just see what color it is. Is it the exact same color, or is it too dark, or is it too light? More likely, if you leave it on too long, your roots are going to be lighter than the rest of your head. So really check that. Really look and say, okay, let me see. And if usually it's going to get to a level where it's exactly the same color, that's when you need to neutralize your hair with the neutralizing shampoo right away. Don't wait. Right away, get in the shower and just get that water on there, get that shampoo on there, and start rinsing that color out as quickly as possible. Get it all out of your hair. Make sure your hair has no residual color on your hair. And then you're going to put in your moisturizing conditioner. You leave that in. And then you rinse that out. And I really tell people, if you're going to do that kind of, depending what state you live in, if you have good tap water that has no really harsh chemicals in it, that's not going to change your hair to green, then I say get yourself, spend a little money, get a couple of gallons of spring water and rinse your hair out with that. Because you're taking a chance on tap water. Tap water is iffy depending on where you come from. If you have hard water, it's going to change the color of your hair. You may not get the blonde that you want. You might end up with weird color. You might have a weird brassy color to it, or it might even be green. But that's why you have your toning shampoo, which is the purple shampoo. And the one that I've seen people use over the counter is the Aussie. The Aussie one seems to work very well. There's a few of them, but that one does work. I've seen people use that one. It actually does work. But have that right there, because you're going to see the color right away. You're going to say, oh my God, it's either too yellow, too orange, or it might actually come out exactly the same color that you want it. It might actually be exactly the color that you want. So you really don't need the toner. Because usually if it's the color exactly what you want, you don't need to tone it. Because if you tone it, it's going to change that color. More than likely, it might make it a little darker. So, and sometimes, and I've seen this happen at home, where the color becomes lavender because it's a purple shampoo. And sometimes, depending on the quality of the product, you might end up with light lavender hair instead of blonde. So you got to be careful. And that'll eventually rinse out, but that's the color you're going to kind of be stuck with if you're not careful. So just know that being a blonde takes a lot of time and money. It's not an easy color. It really isn't. So I tell people, go to a professional that you have looked online and they have great reviews. Look at all the reviews, the bad, the good, and the ugly, and make your assessment. And then go in for a consultation. Because I tell people, don't do things that are rushed. Don't make like a really quick decision. Like, take your time. Like, look at their business online and read the comments. Look at all the pictures that they have. Because some places don't even have pictures of their work, which I find to be strange. Because if you don't have any pictures of your clients, I wouldn't go to you. Because how do I know if you are who you say you are? You have no pictures to prove it. You might have 4 stars, 5 stars, but like, where are the pictures? None. So I say avoid those places with no pictures. Now, the ones that do have pictures, just look at it realistically. Does this look like a real picture, or does it look like they had a model come in who probably didn't get their hair done there and they're trying to pretend like it's their work? You have to really look to see how real these pictures are. And you can even Google pictures, because I've done this where I've taken a picture off of somebody's website and Googled it. It's not even their work. It's not even their picture. It's like these stock pictures off the internet. That's not even their work. They didn't even take the picture. They're taking somebody else's work and putting it on their website. I've done that too. I said, oh my gosh, these people are shady. So you have to be careful. So if you're going to go blonde, good luck. It's going to take time and money, and it's going to take effort. So like and subscribe if you like what you've seen here. Subscribe, because I'm going to start posting videos more often. I'm going to say, I was going to do it every Monday and Friday. But I guess that's a good time to do it, Monday and Fridays. I'm going to put videos on here now. I took a break because life was happening and I had to get back into what was going on. I had to see what was going on in the world. Now I can really focus on this. So Hope to hear from you soon. Leave a comment below and put on that notification bell so you can get the most current information that I'm going to post. You can say whatever you want in the comments. I don't mind. And I'll talk to you guys later. Ciao.